So there'll be a little bit more focus on that from them. All right, Brandon, the floor is yours.
All right, appreciate the introduction. But a recap of our spring season with our primary provider groups. Our youth soccer provider group is wrapping up their spring season with one of their largest registrations ever. They're upwards of 700 plus participants in the rec league and 50 plus teams across the divisions when they're going from ages 5 up until 18. Our summer camp is, we're done taking registrations right now. We are maxed out, and this is the soonest that we've actually been on wait list. All 4 sessions 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have age groups 5 to 14 are completely filled. So we're looking forward to a great summer camp. Our summer sports academies are now open for registrations. We have volleyball, indoor and outdoor, sand, basketball, multiple sessions, and then we also have a fishing camp that we do annually. So right now we're open for those registrations. Our youth volleyball league has just started this past Saturday. We've 8 teams, 4 teams in each division, junior and senior. And we started a little older, so it goes from ages 10 to 14. And we've also branched a little bit into the 15-year-olds with that senior division as well. But that league is going well. The intake last year, we were at 6 teams, so we're able to add enough to add 8 teams this year. And then our adult basketball league, their spring-summer season has just begun. We're 2 games under our belts, and those 10 teams across the board in that league as well. So that league runs Sunday mornings. I'm sorry, not Sunday mornings, Sunday afternoons at the Recreation Center. I mean, that's a recap of what we have going on right now and coming up through the spring and summer months.
What time do you meet for the basketball on Sunday? What time is it?
The adult basketball league games go from 12 to 4 every hour.
Thank you.
And Brandon, what was that season length again for the Sunday, for the men's league?
So the men's league, it'll actually run through the summer. Right now we have the championship concluding the first Sunday in August.
Okay. And when are they starting, actually, games?
The games, they've already started.
Okay.
They started 2 weeks ago, and I'll give you an exact, because I could tell you here.
So while he's looking that up, I know there was a comment last meeting about the bathrooms in the building being open. So during these Sundays, while men's basketball is going on, the rec center will be open on those Sundays from 12 to 4?
12 to 4, yeah.
So we'll get some signage on the door as well to let people know that the building is open on those Sundays, relative to being able to come into the building and use the bathrooms then too and stuff, so.
Yeah, and so it'll be, we'll go all the way through August 4th. And there'll be the only blackout days that we will have are Mother's Day Sunday and Father's Day Sunday. We won't have games going on those days.
Does anybody have any questions for Brandon about any of our youth athletics, the rec center, senior programs technically underneath him as well with Shakira because of the building? No? All right.
More of a question for you, maybe, Mark, related to specifically Catskill and soccer. My kids have played travel soccer. We started out at Cats with Mal, and I coached there for years. And I know Lou had said that the conversion to artificial turf has already been approved. It's in the line item somewhere. I've been playing a lot of tournaments across the state the last year, and just came back from Naples this weekend. 3 different huge monstrous facilities, all turf. I know we have an issue financially with resodding those fields every year and all that cost. What's the outlook on getting those upgraded?
So right now, I'm actually getting the reputation known as Mark, the field turf guy. So because I've been advocating for that since I got here. So we actually have a grant in the state of Florida right now for $1.5 million. We'll find out this summer whether or not we get that grant. Okay. And it is to turf all the soccer field areas at Cats.
All Cats, okay.
All of Cats.
Good.
It is, so what Lou may have mentioned is it's in the capital improvement plan.
The plan, right.
2028.
Okay,
I have moved it up.
okay.
So I've moved it up. If we get the grant this summer, I will push to get it into the budget in the next fiscal year.
We're behind the curve. We were with some of the facilities
Absolutely.
I've been to.
Yeah,
They're
absolutely.
just spectacular.
And part of my motivation is to try to use capital resources to reduce operating costs,
Right.
right? So the wear and tear, and we saw, like, I was out there this past Saturday morning as well, and we got, like you said, we have 700 kids now in soccer, and they're just, and right now, we are in a drought right now. I mean, we're all enjoying these beautiful days, right? But we have gotten no rain, no help from Mother Nature, even though we have irrigation on the fields. But when you put that many kids on that field, on those fields relentlessly, there's a lot of wear and tear going on right now. And if you had turf, you wouldn't worry about that at all.
Right.
Right? And there wouldn't be a down season either. And maybe in the down season, we could try to start flag football or even other types of sports activities out there, so we won't have to do that. So it is at the top of my list. Right behind the rec center expansion, the turfing of the Cats fields is number 2.
Excellent.
So,
Thank you. Thank you as well.
When that's going to start, the rec center expansion?
yeah, that's on my report.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brandon.
Good luck to your son.
Okay, Mark?
All right, so the first item that we have to do is appoint a chair and vice chair for the Rec Advisory Board from moving forward from this meeting on to for the next calendar year.
Your time is up, Phyllis.
Phyllis is gone.
I meant, Jesus. I was just
She's
thinking about her as we drove in. I was just thinking about her.
Huh?
So,
Nice to be compared to her, though.
I was just thinking about her the other day as I drove in.
so we typically, because we just had Sandy, who stayed on as the chair, but we didn't have a vice chair. So,
Didn't we?
well, it was from after Phyllis passed.
No, but I thought we had the other John. Wasn't the other John vice
But he
chair?
rolled off like midway through. I don't think he finished his whole term though. But maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I
then he
think
was
so.
off and he never got replaced as the
Right.
vice chair. So typically you'd have it as the vice chair almost would be like the year in training, to become the chair the next year, and then we really only replacing one person each year on the board. So I guess I'll just open the floor to, if anybody's interested, to raise their hand or nominate one of your fellow board members to be the chair and the vice chair.
I did it years ago. I don't mind doing it again if nobody else wants to.
Nominate John.
But if somebody else wants to, I'll certainly.
I think John done a good job as well.
Yes.
Okay,
Second?
hold on. So
Oh.
let's do it all at once.
Oh,
Let's get a chair and a vice chair.
okay.
Is there anybody that would be willing to step up? And
Gentlemen?
you can certainly nominate the people that are absent.
That's not nice.
That happened to John, actually, the year he was vice chair. Surprise!
You're a new member. How would you, I'm sorry, Tim.
Tim,
Tim, vice chair,
Vice
nominate.
Chair, I nominate you.
Why not? Okay, yes.
Here you can't say no.
okay, so, hold on, let's square this up on how we're gonna do this. Can one of you actually just make the motion to nominate John as the chair and Tim as the vice chair, and the other one second it?
Yes, I'll make a motion to nominate John as the chair and Tim as the vice chair. I second it.
All right, so I'll say all in favor.
Sorry?
Say all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Nobody's going to be opposed.
Okay. All right. So,
Thank you, gentlemen.
yes. All right, so moving at the start of the next meeting, then you will be the chair and you're the vice chair. You'll get to sit next to me in the middle here, and I'll help lead you along with the meeting. And so, okay, very good. All right, so I wanted to cover capital improvement projects and kind of bring you up to speed with where we're at. And that was in my handout tonight for you. And so the first one is really the one I've gotten the most calls from and seen, like, we just started pushing this out on social media too. So if you live in the north part of town, Crestwood North Park, You can kind of see, I gave you like the park layout and what's all involved.
Amazing.
What's all involved up there.
Looking really good.
It really is.
It's right next to H.L. Johnson School too, so I was up there today even. The sod in the multipurpose field is going down right now. The playground structure is built. The hard court surfaces, that's part of the stuff they're working on right now. I know not a lot of the sub base is down. All the work, it looks like almost all the work along the canal is done. So they are on schedule for mid-July completion. And quite honestly, this is one of the few projects that I've seen, actually, there's always guys out there working. So I'm sure there will be it's a huge park. There's a lot going on in there, so I'm sure there'll be quite a few items on a punch list. But I would expect, quite honestly, maybe even sooner that we'll have substantial completion and have that park open for the public to be able to use this summer. And especially for the people that live in that neighborhood, they'll be able to walk to it. And there is a small parking lot there too, so other members of the public can utilize it as well with the tennis and the basketball and the pickleball courts. I know that the 4 courts that we have right now are the only 4 courts we have outside for pickleball that are well used, and I expect these 2 to be used quite often as well.
Is there any plan for the grand opening on or around July 15th?
I haven't gotten that far yet, so do any of you guys live up in that area? Okay, all right, so I'm just going to make a note about potential grand opening. So yeah, so this illustration is what I've been sharing now. Like quite honestly, I'll get like just emails from the public will just go through our email. Like if you go to our website and just like email somebody, a department, and what's going on with the park? Where are we at with it? And this is what I send. And as soon as I send this to them too, like they're just like so excited about what's happening and how close, and then just that information about that it's this summer. By the end of the summer, you'll be out there to be able to play on there. So, all right, the safety surfacing, the turf underneath the play set on the southwest corner. So that's the first one when you come in the nearest to the dog park area. So that surfacing has been replaced. I'm working on, I have it in my budget for next year to do the other playground, so the companion one on the other side. And then actually next to that, we're going to be adding what we're calling a play for all area. So we already hit, like almost every one of our playgrounds has 30 to 50% of the playground equipment is considered accessible. This new area that we're going to put next to we'll call it the Northwest Playground, is going to be 100% of the equipment is either going to be considered accessible or sensory in nature. So children with disabilities, whether it be physical or mobility issues, they'll have things to play with. If it's autistic or something like that, they'll have features related to that. It'll be close to a bathroom, close to a parking lot, close to the other playground as well. So, and at that time, we'll resurface that side of the park too.
What are you resurfacing it with? I wanted to...
It's Forever Lawn. Yeah.
What was there? Wasn't it?
It was Forever Lawn before.
Okay.
Yeah, it just got, it's so heavily used
Old
and just got matted down so much and worn out. And so, yeah. Then the shade structure over the playground at Bobby Joe Lauder. So that's the park, that small neighborhood park that's near Commons off of Sandpiper. So that shade area is done over that playground. So that'll help that, especially in the summer months in the daytime. It's not always possible to put a shade structure over every playground because they're so big. But because this is a smaller neighborhood one, we were able to do that. The rec center, actually, I worked with Brandon and repositioned. We have a group of pickleballers that come indoors every morning. Yeah. There's got to be 25 to 30 that are registered. And it was one of the first things I observed, that I got 12 people playing on 3 courts, and I got 20 people waiting. Nice. And I'm just eyeballing, like, there's room for 4 courts in here. And so I remember the day before, one of the guys out there, Don, called me, because let's just say it was Sandy. Sandy doesn't know me, but she saw Don talking to me. So Don drags me in to meet Sandy. Sandy pulls out of her bag a drawing of how to do 4 courts in there. And I'm like, yeah, we're doing that tomorrow. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, yeah, we're doing that tomorrow. The tape just came in yesterday. We're doing that tomorrow. So now they were thrilled. So, so we have 4 courts in there now. Now that is the max.
Are they given special time or a certain amount of time to play so other people can play?
Yeah, so they actually police themselves really well. So they use 2 courts for, like, I'll call it like beginner level and 2 courts for competitive level. And a lot of times if the beginner level is short players, some of the other players will play with them to help them learn to play, and they're not, you know, to keep them playing and stuff like that. So that's how they rotate and stuff. So it's from 9:30 to 1 every day, Monday through Friday.
You also have right outside the rec center pickleball courts as well.
We do, but Eva will tell you, it doesn't matter how cool it is, they still would rather play inside.
Really?
Yeah, because there is times when, well, we had to redo the floor, we were doing some work in there, we had to be closed for a couple days, and they could have went outside. Or I always thought it was odd that you'd have 12 people playing, 20 people waiting, when you could have just gotten 4 people and just walked outside and played, but they'd rather just wait to play inside, so.
Well, they're used to the flooring, I guess, too.
Yeah,
and
it is a little
everything
different
is-
ball and stuff, and it's but I like outdoors, so that's done. We did add, just from the meeting from last time that we had about having bathrooms available, and currently, like, the only ones we have are the ones at Katz, so they're a little bit further away and they're around the corners, so I had my staff put up some signage. So if you went over there now, you would see there is signage leading you at least to the bathroom, so you know there's bathrooms there. It's not the ultimate solution, but it is at least an option to at least inform people that if they may not be even aware that there's bathrooms that are open there. So those are up. The windscreens over at Camellia Park are up, so we replaced those. They look really good because they're blue and the court's blue and it matches everything really well over there. The rec center expansion, so, you know, we had the delay with our architect passing, and we are hoping, the plan right now from engineering department is that we will be going out to bid on the project or proposals in mid-July, with potentially starting the project in September. It is an 18 to 24-month project. If it wasn't for us being still in the building while a lot of this is going on, because it's not just the expansion, it's remodel as well. It maybe could have gone faster, but we don't want to stop our programs. So.
Have you said anything to the builders about the restrooms?
Well, that's on the
That I
list.
mentioned to you?
That's on the list, yes. Yeah, in fact, once we get a contractor in place and we start looking at scheduling, that would be one of my first issues, is try to figure out how do we get our existing bathrooms remodeled first or earlier, so,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
And then I know we had also talked about the lighting in the parking lots, and so we worked with what we had first, so we kind of just looked at what we had. So we had some surface lighting as you're walking in the building to the left-hand side that was obstructed by some of the landscaping, so we removed that out. We also only had 2 lights in the canopy right over the outside, and we were able to add that to 2 more to make 4 there. It's still relatively darker in the parking lot, and hopefully that gets addressed during the expansion project, but at least we've done something with what we had to at least make the entry area, because that was always my big concern too, was people coming out of the building and those cars cutting through that I noticed. And they don't necessarily see you because they're not paying attention, and it's dark in the evening.
And not only
So
that, people are telling me that the lights are also, the trees are blocking the lights.
correct. So it's
We
the,
have to cut the trees down, or?
well, we have trimmed them back a little bit, but then during the daytime, the trees do provide shade in the parking lot too. So it's like,
Catch-22.
right, so. And then the last one is just right out through this doorway here, Cypress Hall, which will become our next rental facility. That'll fall under Steve, and we'll get that, who's in charge of our cultural center. So you can have a small, let's just say a family birthday party with seating for 65 people in there. it's going to become a really popular rental place because of the view of the little pond out there. You're not in a building with other activities going on. It's just you, or small wedding reception, or even if you just want to have a meeting.
Yeah.
You can, it's a really good secluded place to have right across from Village Hall. That should be done in the middle of June here. And just in general, like our cultural center rental rate right now, like we're at 95% booked into August every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
That's great.
Even on weekends, $120 an hour is very reasonable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's, yeah. So we know there's a demand for our residents to have a place for small gatherings. And that's easy to get, and even like for older people too, it's going to be easy to get in and out of it. It's all one level and stuff, so, and safe. We're right next to the police and fire, so. So those are the capital projects, so the ones that we've just completed since the last meeting. I'll always continue to update you guys on that. There is a couple just other items of news that aren't capital related. Seminole Palms Park, that is our backup soccer fields that we lease from the county.
The one across from Costco.
Correct. So we have football there and we have adult soccer there, which the village acquired, or in a lease agreement with the county 12 years ago, acquired that with anticipation that they might expand our services. That's never really happened. Like we had flag football for a while that went away during COVID. We were actually turning that park site back over to the county at the end of this calendar year. It's not going to affect any of the programming that's going on there right now. So we actually inherited the football and the adult soccer from the county. They're going to take it back as part of the agreement. And the youth soccer, our youth soccer that uses as a backup fields, they'll still be able to do that through us being the provider group for youth soccer in Royal Palm Beach through us. So they will still be able to use that. The advantage is the county, like the softball fields that are right next to it, the county, when they want to shut their fields down, they have park rangers that will enforce it. Mm-hmm. We put up an orange snow fence that doesn't deter anybody, right? Because they just park over at Costco, they come over and they play on it and trample it. So with the wear and tear on there, and we're spending close to $200,000 a year on maintenance and upkeep. And the fees that we collect are barely 10% of that. So the cost benefit and the fact that we're able to still provide, the people that are using it aren't going to lose it. They're still going to be able to use that. Our youth football program from 12 years ago to today is only, right now we're down to 40% residents. It's actually much more of a county program and more of a travel football versus a local Royal Palm Beach football. So
The field gets flooded very quickly. As soon as it rains, that field really gets flooded.
Yeah, well, that's another issue too. And so, but it's the wear and tear. And like right now, like I drove by there today too, and there's random groups just out there running around on the soccer fields, trampling it and stuff. And they're not supposed to be out there, but we don't have the capacity to stop them.
No.
So.
Sounds like a good handoff to me.
Yeah, so it makes a lot of financial sense, it makes a lot of logistic sense, and nobody loses on the deal. So, and then just one last piece of news too. So Mike was here back in January, so Mike is leaving us, our assistant director.
Anything on what they're doing?
So, yes, I'm in the interview stages right now to replace him. So his last day is May 31st, technically is his last day, the end of the school year. So he's going back to upstate New York.
Fool.
He was from there.
Yeah.
He was smart. He introduced his kids to snow when it was just a little bit of snow.
Buffalo's not a little bit of snow.
Exactly. So during spring break, they went up there and, they got a little bit of snow. And so.
In for a rude awakening.
Yeah, well, so, when you're a kid, snow's not a problem, right? You get a snow day, It's when you're an adult, you have to drive in it and stuff, yeah. So he's with us to the end of May, and hopefully I have her as a replacement before he leaves, so I can get a little cross-training before he's done. So So we got, so I'm new, I'll have somebody else in the building new, or it could be an internal person, but then if it's an internal, then somebody else new has to take that person's position as well. So we'll get through it. And the good thing is, like, Mike's been great. Like, he could have left a long time ago. He could have stopped working.
Good guy.
And me and Eva enjoy giving him a hard time for leaving us and stuff, so we're going to miss him
He
for
don't
sure.
care.
We're going to miss him for sure. So, and, he'd love to be here tonight to say goodbye to you guys, but he is like swamped right now with his own kids. He's got 3 kids, and they're very active, and they're trying to make sure that they can do every last thing, although none of his kids have they're not, what he's telling us, they have no issues with them moving, which, like, no attachment
They're
issues.
really something different.
Yeah, they're looking for a change and stuff, so, but they're all very active kids too, so.
Are they planning a going away?
We're gonna have a low-key luncheon for him, so. You'll probably be in the building, you're around enough, Sandy.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So,
yeah.
so,
Although I'm going to become
Yeah.
a volunteer myself now to
Yep,
fight.
yep. Right, so. All right, so that's all I have for tonight. I guess I'll go around one last time if anybody has any questions about any parks or programs.
What about the meetings, the upcoming meetings?
Oh,
Do we
yeah,
have dates?
so the meeting schedule, July is the 22nd, I believe, Eva? Let me see. I know I sent out an email to everybody.
July 22nd.
July is the 22nd. September is the 16th. The October one, for some reason, I'm thinking,
Probably Halloween night, right? Is that like?
no,
around?
it could be, it's probably the 21st. In the January one, I haven't really looked, I don't think I looked that far into January. I just know, like, I just did it by the calendar year, so we had the January one this year already. But those are the months that we will meet. Those are the months that we will meet.
What?
so.
Eva, did you say something?
Oh, so they're each a week later. All right, September 23rd, October 28th. And did we do the 25 of January of year 2025? 27th, okay.
We're already talking 2025.
Boy, that year went fast.
I know, scary, right? I know.
Incredible.
I have one more question.
Sure.
A neighbor friend of mine, and I've seen it again on social media, in Home Place Park in Counterpoint. So there's a new sign, or it's fairly new, where it's saying no pets in an area that's almost right next to the doggy pickup bag, so you, could you give me so I can maybe speak with Mark about give him some clarification, because he's
Yep.
confused.
So we've had an issue with, several of our playgrounds in our neighborhoods are fenced in. So the parents, when their kids are going to the playgrounds, don't have to worry about them running off out into the street or somewhere else in the park. Some of our residents are letting their dogs run loose in there. So we've gotten some complaints about that people are treating it like a dog park. It's not a dog park, it's a playground that's fenced in. So we had a request, so we basically, the only thing we could really do, we can't police it, but we could put up some signage. So the signage where it says no pets is referring to in the playground area. Okay. So I can double check to make sure, like, the location of those, that they're inside the playground area.
I mean, there's 2 dog parks in the park.
Exactly, and that was literally, the first complaint came through was the park it was probably that park, that it has a dog park, in the park area. But they still were letting their dog run loose inside the playground area.
All right, thank you for that.
Yep. All right. Anything else?
Yeah, real quick, the Camilla tennis courts windscreens got replaced. Are the Marcello windscreens planned
For the outfield? We're talking about
for the tennis
For
courts?
tennis? I will talk to my staff.
Okay. Those things are in rough shape. Now, July 15th comes along, I'm going to go over to Crestwood Park. But
Right, or sooner. Okay, I will find out from Richie, my park superintendent.
Okay, and then one other comment, I guess, for the fall baseball, if you could encourage the organizers to provide the dates when they send out the registration email. That's not something they've been particularly excellent at.
You're looking for the dates to register or the dates of the season?
The dates, like approximate dates when the evaluations are and when the season starts. All of the other local leagues do it.
Yep,
And we're considering making a jump over to Royal Palm this fall, so.
okay. I can get them, I can push them, at a minimum, we can get the information for ourselves so we know, and then share it. So, yeah. I'm sure they have a good idea what they're going to do. It's just a matter of putting it down on paper.
Yeah, just making that decision early enough to let everybody know before they sign up.
Okay.
There's nothing else? I make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Second, I'll make the motion, somebody else second it.
Say all in favor.
All in favor? Anybody opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Good evening, everybody.
You too.